Good morning, everybody. It is a very, very cloudy, overcasty, potentially rainy Monday in North Texas. So there's the weather broadcast for the beginning of the week. But as I sit out here, and I've been sitting here for probably the last 5, 6, 7 minutes, just drinking some coffee and just tapping in, getting aligned to what is the message of today. I was thinking about a whole different stuff, and it's interesting. The song I have going off in my head is an Imagine Dragons song this morning, just because I think I listened to it yesterday and everything. But as I sat out here and I'm watching these clouds. So I'm watching these clouds, and the clouds are just moving through. The sky is gray. I came out here and I was like, oh, it's kind of gray and overcast. And at the same time, I'm kind of grateful for the gray and overcast, because yesterday was so sunny and so hot, and the pavement was hot, and so this is a nice change. Just a tempo bring down in temperature. And it's probably a really great day to go and get my garage freaking finished, because I've now procrastinated for like 2 weeks on the garage. So today's like the perfect temperature, if this holds, for me to go take care of my garage and clean it up and get things organized and do everything that I need to do over there. But I'm watching these clouds go by, and they're just moving by so smoothly. And the sky just doesn't give a shit what the clouds are doing. The sky is just there, and the clouds are just moving through, and the breeze is blowing, and the tree in front of me here, it's just allowing the breeze to blow. It's just going with it. I sat here and I started thinking about the last month of my life, and then I started thinking about my daughter, who just returned home from Maui after being there for 6, 7, 8 months, whatever it's been, and the turbulence in her world and the things that have happened, and the heartbreak and the struggles and all of this different drama that has gone down for her. And then I look at the drama that has happened for me, and then I was thinking about just all these people in my life that I love and adore, and the different situations that's occurred over the last year. And I couldn't help it but just kind of think, if we were just more like the sky, right? If we were just more like the sky, who just doesn't give a shit about how the clouds are blowing, the wind is going through the trees, what us humans are doing down here on Earth. The sky is just the sky. It just is. It just simply is. It just holds for everything. It's just the container that allows the weather, nature, to do its thing. It doesn't get dramatic about it. It doesn't feel traumatized by it. It doesn't overreact. It just holds. That's all it does, is it just holds. Now, for us humans, we have emotion and all, and the sky doesn't have emotion, so it's a little bit different. We can't just hold like the sky, right? We can't just completely hold like the sky. We can pretend to hold like the sky. We can be emotionless appearing, but we cannot escape our emotions. We can't do that. But what we can do is we can actually hold like the sky and witness everything. We can witness things from a most conscious state. We can just witness them and let things just flow through the way they need to, instead of trying to control everything. Because much like the sky teaches us, much like the storms that come and go teach us, everything comes through. All storms just kind of move through. We might be in the eye of a hurricane in our life, but the reality is that we're halfway through the storm. We're halfway through the storm when we're in the eye of it. And sure, Shit's gonna go down. Things are gonna get rough still. But we're on our way. And it's just, we can't change the storm, but what we can do is we can just embrace it and do what we need to do for us in the middle of those storms. And realize that the storm's going to pass. Realize that it's not going to hang out in our life forever. And that the more dramatic and the more freak out moment we have in the midst of the storm, that's where we really crash. That's where we start to react in unhealthy ways. I mean, what's the worst place to be when an emergency happens, especially when a natural disaster happens? The worst place to be is around other people. That's the absolute worst place to be, because the majority of people are going to overreact. The majority of people are going to freak out and get over dramatic and just do crazy stuff. And in the midst of a very traumatic situation, that is exactly not the place you want to be, because chances of you getting killed or severely hurt, not surviving the storm, is actually when you're right in the middle of a large group of people. And it's not so much that you're in the middle of the large group of people that's going to do it to you. It's the overreaction, the panic, the freak out of that storm. And here's what I've noticed in the last month, because even though I've had a lot of shit happen in my life, I have not had a large community around me ever until just recently. And the community that I didn't even realize was around me. And it's really, truly a blessing. Coffee break. It's really, truly a blessing. But the thing that I've also noticed is everybody sharing with me what they would do if they were in my shoes. Everybody sharing with me, this or that, and their opinions about what I should do, what my children should do, what this person should do, all that different stuff. And that's kind of like being in a humongous, emergency situation in a group of people, and this group of people runs that way and that group of people runs that way, and they go like that, and then they start getting into a fight because they're trying to go opposite directions and all this different stuff because they have different opinions, right? Well, that is exactly the same thing that happens in our little emergency situations, those little storms. Everybody's trying to put their 2 cents in, share their heart. They all want the best for you. It's just, what way are you going? And how you work through any storm is to, yes, take in what people are saying. Be consciously aware of the messages that are coming at you, because there's lots of good sound advice that comes through in the middle of a storm. There's lots of connection. There's lots of beauty that people share with you, and experiences and support, empathy. But at the end of the day, the only way you make it through your own storm is to pull it back, reel in your drama, reel it all in, and sit with it. Just sit with it, much like I'm sitting out here on my back patio and just watching these clouds go by. That's exactly what you kind of do for your own storm. You just sit back in your own being and watch your storm go by. So take it to a meditative practice, where in meditation you can't release all thought. Our brains are always going. We're always thinking. We're always pulling in all the stuff. We can reach a place of feeling like we're not thinking, feeling like we have no, what it is that we're not attaching to thought, because it's like we're sitting at the riverside and we're just watching the river go by, much like I'm just watching these clouds go by. You just watch the water go by, right? You're not going to change the river. You're not going to reorchestrate where it's going. 6 a.m. exhausted here. No, not really. I just haven't drank my coffee yet, and I don't know. I'm just tired. I've just been tired. But that's moving and healing, right? You get a little exhausted. Storms can make you exhausted. But when you're sitting at that riverside and you're just watching the river go by. You're just watching the water go by. And you know that you can't change it, and you know that you're not going to reorchestrate it. And you can just see what's going on, but you're not stepping in to the water, right? You're just not stepping into it. You're not stepping into the flow. You're not getting caught up in the currents that are right there before you. And that's the exact same thing with meditation, with our thoughts, is that we're just watching the thoughts. We're witnessing, as I like to use. My word is witness. We are witnessing the thoughts just move by. We're not actually stepping into the flow of thought. We're not getting caught up in a current, which would be getting caught up in a thought and letting it take us off to sea. We're not doing that. We're just witnessing it. So we're remaining on the shore, on the bank, and we're just watching these thoughts go by. That's all meditation really is. When you do that enough, all of a sudden you can clear your mind, as it would be called. You're clearing your mind to this level where you're now not attached to the thought, and you experience peace, which is just another word for release, because now you don't have the attachment. So once you get into the state of not having the attachment, that's where peace, where release, where enlightenment, Zen comes in. That's how you enter Zen. You enter Zen right there. Okay? That's exactly where you go. You just enter it right there. It's that easy. It's that hard. That's all you do. You enter Zen right there, and you just witness everything. Well, that's exactly what we need to do with the storms of our life, is treat them, because literally the storms are normally about 90%, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, depending on your storm. But we're just going to call it 90% for this, the sake of this. Now 85-90% storms are right here. That's it. This is where storms are happening. And the 10% that is happening in real world scenarios, the fights with people, the arguments, the uncertainties, the shit that's going down, it's really only about 10% at best of the storm. And we get so caught in that 10% that we think 90% more on thoughts, and when we send these thoughts in and we attach them, so much like that current in the river that I was talking about, that current, we get caught up in that current because we get caught up in those thoughts, and they just take us off. And then all of a sudden we have total, utter chaos, fear, doubt, all this shit in our head, and it's just crazy, 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 and we lose ourselves. We lose ourselves in the current, and all of a sudden we can't breathe. We can't escape it. It's like we are drowning in our own drama, trauma. We're drowning in our own thoughts. And the way to step back and not get caught in those thoughts is to practice what I just said, stepping back to the bank of the on the shoreline, and just witnessing those thoughts, separating yourself from those thoughts, coming back to that, because the majority of things that are happening, the majority of our deep, dark, emotional upheaval even, is just attached to the thoughts that we're thinking. It's just this sensation because we'll have the thought and we're unconscious to the thought, and then all of a sudden we start feeling this way or acting that way. Things are perceived to us in different ways, so we start getting reactive in our life because now we're perceiving that people in our life are showing up in a way, and we're now putting our thoughts, our thought emotion, that energy that is in here, that is just us getting caught in the current, we now put it onto other people in our lives. So we put that onto everybody out here, and then all of a sudden we get reactive with the way those people are acting and the way we're perceiving them acting, we put it out there, and then we're not even giving the space for them to actually show up in their truth, because now we've put all of our shit, our storm, on them. So it's like we just went and rained on them. They don't know that we've rained on them, but we see it raining on them. They're wet, and we're like, why are you so wet? But they don't even know that they're wet, because in their world they're dry, but we're seeing them as wet. And it's just like, well, it's raining over there. And they're like, no, it isn't. What are you talking about? And they're like, oh, no, I see it. It's very clear that it's raining right there. It's raining. And they're like, no, 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 no. It's all in our perception. You have to realize that really, truly, perception is reality. And that is why two people can go through the exact same scenario and perceive it differently, experience it differently, and have different outcomes and different feelings about it, because our perception to it is reality. So the best way to get through a storm is to quite literally not get so dramatic about it. Just don't be so dramatic about the storm. Just don't. It's just let it go. Like, put it down. Get to that place to zen. And I know that that might sound like I'm being really, really just boom, simplifying it here to that level. But I can only simplify it because it's that simple. I'm not saying that it's easy. It's not easy. It is extremely difficult to maintain that level of consciousness and detachment, but with connection, to really get to that level so that you can just experience it and grasp it from a different place and watch that river go by and just watch it and realize that here's the thing, the little minor little thing that happens to you in this, tell you from personal experience, because I mean, all I'm doing is sharing with you exactly what I do. People ask me all the time, oh, well, how do you get through this? Or they say, oh, I love your perspective on life. I love the way you look at things, how you do this, how you do that. I get told that I'm strong a lot. I get told all these awesome, wonderful compliments, wonderful support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The reality is that it's just practice. It's just a practice skill, and it's about a solid 10 years old. So it's still a baby. Still a baby. My skill set is a baby's level. I'm still, I haven't reached even middle school yet on this practice, because I spent my 20s. Well, I spent all of my first 30 years, you could say, really getting caught up in ego, and it wasn't until my late 20s, early 30s. I spent about a 4 or 5 year time frame from about 20, I think I was 28, about 28 to about 33, I'm going to say. I'm going to just group it into that five year bracket there. I spent those 5 years really focused in on catching my ego, on getting in alignment to my spirit, and to really putting into practice the things that I share here on Conscious Coffee a lot, and in my different workshops and online classes. And I just put these things into practice, and it's just a practice of just doing it. And I fall down all the fucking time. I do. I fall down all the time. So, yeah, sure, I'm strong. Yeah, sure, I got this perspective. Yeah, sure, I'm calm. I can handle things relatively well. And my ego beats the shit out of me every single day, and I catch it all the time, and I don't catch it all the time. And that is exactly what you have to realize, is that you're going to fall down. You're going to crash. You're going to make mistakes. You're only human. You're not going to catch your ego all the time. You're not going to be ego-less, ever. Okay? Ever. So just put that one down. It doesn't happen. The best monk in the Himalayas isn't egoless. Okay? Jesus wasn't egoless, okay? There's a space for the ego. The ego has its purpose, has its place, and it is there to protect and alert and to keep us into a space. The problem that we have with the ego today is that we're so detached from our spirit. We're so out of alignment to God that the ego is running amok in our lives consistently, and we believe that the ego is us, and it is the awareness that our ego is not us that we have to really catch on, which comes back to, don't get so dramatic about your storm. It too shall pass, because it will. The storm will pass. There is sunshine on the other side of the clouds. There's a blue sky on the other side of the clouds. There's all this stuff out there. So there is no reason to quite literally overreact and throw yourself into the crowd of thoughts that's just going to take you down, much like being in an emergency situation in the middle of New York City. What the heck's going to happen? Not good stuff. This is where you get hurt. This is where your risk factor goes up even more. And what it is that you're right there in the midst of all this chaos and everybody's reacting differently. If you start listening to all the reactions that your friends, your family, your is having or think that you should be having, and you start getting caught up into that whirlwind, then all of a sudden you got all these thoughts that are going to match those thoughts. And all of a sudden everything's going to be supportive. And then you're going to find yourself over there. And life isn't going to be so fuck yes anymore. Life's not going to be so pretty. It's not going to be so calm. It's not going to be so peaceful. You see? Pay attention. The crow just said yes. So, signs of spirit, right? Yeah, to put it in his 2 cents. It's really, truly just stepping out of that thought and practicing it and not beating yourself up for falling down, not beating yourself up for letting ego get you, for getting caught in a whirlwind thought, and for having a little mini storm within your storm, for not getting, don't beat yourself up for getting caught in the storm, but as soon as you realize that you're caught in the storm, realize that you also have the power to step out of the storm and to sit your butt down and just come back to awareness, come back to consciousness, come back to that state where you're just on the bank, remember on the shore, just watching that river go by. You just want to watch that river go by. And every time you step out of your river, every single time you step out of your river, you get stronger. Because it takes great strength, great focus, attention, love, and trust to step out of your river and to do something that is not normal to what you have so far experienced, and to have the faith that by stepping out of the river, you're going to find your peace, you're going to find your joy, you're going to find your answers, and it's all going to come because you just get into aligned. You get into alignment, and you're always in alignment. You see, that's the thing. We're always in alignment. Always, 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 always. I'm not going to get totally caught on this. I'm just making this little bleep here, that you're always in alignment. Notice that when you're thinking your negative thoughts, that everything that you're thinking magically appears. These things that aren't so fun, aren't so pretty, our worries, our concerns, our stressors, they just magically appear. Poof, there they are. And then notice that as soon as you step back to that shoreline and you have this beautiful stuff going on and you're just witnessing and you're just allowing, guess what happens? That good shit that you're thinking just magically appears. You know what that tells you? You're always in alignment. Always, 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 always in alignment. So whether you're thinking good, you're thinking bad, and remember that good and bad is just your perception. But no matter what you're thinking, it's going to manifest into your reality. It will create, because we live in a yes-verse. So everything just kind of happens the way you want it, or maybe not. Where's your attention? Where's your focus? Think on that. Bring it back to that. And get yourself into the alignment that you want to have. Get out of the storm. Step out of your storm. See the storm for what it is. Allow it to pass by. Unless you really are enjoying yourself dancing in that storm, then fine. Whatever, What was that? Frank Sinatra, Dancing in the Rain or whatever, right? Grab your umbrella and go dance in the rain and kick at the puddles and go have some fun. At least go and do it joyously, not with such dramatic whatever you got going on there. because unless you're enjoying the drama, I mean, if that's where your world is at and that's what brings you joy, have fun with it. Don't call me though. But really, truly, every storm passes. Every storm passes. And just think on it. So I know that I have lots of people that are in the middle of their storms right now. I have heard so many stories. I've gotten text messages in the last, because I have not been overly active with my clients, physically speaking, in office over the last month, and I had all this different stuff. So I've got these emails and I've got these text messages and I'm getting Facebooked by people and all this different stuff. And yes, we all have storms. We all have storms, and the storms are there, and it just is. And the more you can step out, the more you're actually stepping in to your alignment, into your heart space, into your spirit space, into that space where you can truly create. So ask yourself, if I knew that I was limitless, if I knew that I could have the life that I want, if I had total and utter faith, what would my life be like? How would I be showing up in my life? And how would I feel? So there's your journal prompts of this morning. There's the journal prompts. If I had total and utter faith and knew that I was limitless, Crow really is just going to town. What would my life be like? How would I be showing up? And what would I be experiencing? Who would I be? What would those emotions be? So, I'm going to end on that, guys. I'm going to end on that. I want you to just take a moment to think about those questions, write them down. Take just 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. You can get a lot accomplished in 2 minutes. Take 2 minutes of silent time. Take 2 minutes to just listen to your heartbeat, and quite literally just place your hand on your chest. Listen to your heartbeat. Breathe it in. Let yourself experience it, and just let yourself go there, okay? Into that space, okay? And really just get connected with who you are and what your heart wants. And after that 2 minutes of stillness, notice the chaos, okay? Because what will happen in 2 minutes is you're not going to be able to detach from your thoughts. You're not. But what you will notice is the thoughts, the chaos. You're going to notice the storm, and that's all you really need in this moment, is to become the witness to your storm. Because until you realize that you are the creator of your storm, that you're actually over there creating it in your thoughts, you're not going to be able to change that storm to a beautiful blue sky and sunshine, because you don't even realize that you're in control of your storm. So, first step, become aware that you're in control of your storm and start noticing that. Second step, get these journal questions done, okay? And really ask yourself that, so that you can actually feel into what it would be like to not have these kinds of thoughts. And then lastly, just really go forward with as much witnessing and as much consciousness as you possibly can in every moment, and just don't beat yourself up for falling down, okay? So, okay, guys, goodness, this week is probably going to, who knows what this week. I got my little munchkins this week, so my world's going to be a little bit more chaotic and everything, because we're still trying to get on a new path here of life and everything. But lots of articles coming out, lots of videos coming out. Today is, if you're local in the DFW areas, we've got early bird special that goes through tonight. So today's the 18th, I believe, right? Today's the 18th. I may extend that early bird out until tomorrow, just because I did not get the promotions out that I wanted to over the weekend because of my own storms. But definitely there is a female sexuality class that Miss Addison Bell and I are doing this next Saturday. So if you are in the DFW area, know that that is coming out. I don't know if we will be filming the seminar portion of it yet or not. I have to figure that one out, but we might be. And let me see. Other than that, I think I'm pretty good on everything else. You want to know any more about like thought processes and all this good stuff right here? I got the free class, the Fuck Yes Life class that's out right now. That is definitely on creation work and how to create some of that stuff, and just gives you more journal prompts and video training and all that good stuff that I put together for my free class for right now. So that one's out. And then of course my Feel Good Now class, which goes a little bit more into depth on how you can achieve this state of basically just being in alignment. Because when you're in alignment, you're just creating what you want, but it is conscious alignment that matters, and really tapping into your GPS system, which is your emotions, your feelings about things. So you can definitely check those things out. And other than that, just go have a fucking amazing week. Go enjoy yourselves, and I will catch you guys tomorrow around 6 a.m.ish for another Conscious Coffee. Always, 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 always remember to stop existing and start living. Bye, guys.